Hello there, only one Kenobi here, only one. You know, it's getting quite late tonight. This is Wednesday and the night of the latest episode of Andor, and I was going to maybe do a video tomorrow because I'm feeling tired and I was going to watch this episode again. But, you know, sod it, man, I got to talk about it, and I put a few figures out here. I've got no script, I'm just going to talk about what I remember seeing the first time I watched it earlier, and I'll watch it again tomorrow. But these figures might help me remember, because these are all the things that I saw in the episode that I wanted to discuss. And you can see Aunt Beru there, and you're probably wondering why I've got that there. She wasn't in the episode, but still, Marva was, and I really like that character of Marva, which is the surrogate mother, I'd say, of Andor. But so much going on. Lutheran, I think it's called, is great. And obviously Mon Mothma had a great part again. I loved the scenes with Mon Mothma tonight. If I can focus on her. Where she was just like, smile, you know, brilliant, playing a game, and she was talking about politics with her friend. I loved the bit when she said about her own husband, he's not to be trusted, and we all knew that anyway, but fantastic. I ironically was filming Wolf Yularen the other week, only because of the fact that I love Wolf Yularen, and I love the Bureau and the white suited Imperials. I love that. But he was actually in this. Now, the thing is, I was talking to Bosk's Bounty about it, and I was looking at this guy who we haven't seen in the series, having a speech, and he even said, you know, I have spoken to Emperor Palpatine. I can't wait to watch it again, man. He said he had spoken to the Emperor, and I thought, wow. I wasn't watching him thinking, that's Wolf Yularen. I thought, wow, it's a white-haired dude with a beard, a moustache. But, you know, deep down I knew it was him. But Tim said, wow, I'm Wolf Yularen, man. And I was like, wait. Yeah, I thought it was him as well. It was him, wasn't it? I don't think anyone referred to him by his name, but that was just awesome to see him in that. Brilliant. And as I say, I love the series, right? I mean, the thing about it is with the Book of Boba Fett, legacy character there, Kenobi, oh man, loads of legacy characters. What I loved about Rogue One and Mandalorian, when they had these new characters in Mando, right? One of the things I did when I watched that series was I watched brand new characters. I'm just going to get Mando here since I'm talking about him. But I don't know if you did this or not, but I watched it and enjoyed watching new people and learning new stuff. And when you see different characters or new characters, they're not meddling with the old. We've all got our own headspace, headcanon, whatever, about what characters are doing in the universe. And when I watched The Mandalorian, I just, in the back of my mind, I was thinking to myself, well, Han, Luke and Leia are doing something somewhere out there. And we're not seeing it, but that you just know they're there, if that makes sense. With this, they're talking about, you know, the Emperor, his name is mentioned. You don't see the Emperor, but you just know he's there. You know what I mean? It's all happening at that time. So that's what makes it so seriously Star Wars. It's just everything else going on beyond the main movies. And then in the movies, you see what the top of the chain is. You see the Emperor and Vader, and then later on with characters like Luke. You know, when you think about it, the rebellion fell on their feet with him, didn't they? You know, a guy who came along and Force user blew up the Death Star without Luke Skywalker. A hell of a lot wouldn't have happened, you know, in terms of defeating the Empire. But still, I suppose my point is that as opposed to dancing with danger like they did with Kenobi, and people do and say things and you think, that's not what I wanted to happen, or no, that didn't work, or that's not how I ever imagined things to play out. With this, things can just play out and it doesn't affect anything else that was from the original trilogy, or, you know, events or characters. You know they're there because they are there, they exist in that time period, but they're not being trifled with. And that's all I get to say about that. I hope I've made my point clear on that, but still, loved hearing about the Emperor and stuff like that. It would be great to, well, you don't even need to see them in a cameo because they're there. If you want to see what the Emperor looks like or does, watch the Return of the Jedi, you know what I mean? Still. So this guy, I just thought I'd bring at the very end with Cassian. Oh no, I can't even focus, come on. There you go. Shore Troopers, they make a lot of appearances. You've got them in Mandalorian, Rogue One, obviously. But yeah, there was a couple of shore troopers at the very end of the episode. He goes to that kind of like beach planet or whatever, and Cassian obviously takes his earnings, and yeah, that was just awesome, the confrontation with these guys, and the stiff penalty as well, the 6 years. It's like, wow, bang. And he didn't really protest it either, I suppose it would have been a lot worse for him if he'd fought the guy and it would have escalated or whatever. But anyway, that also brings me to the very end of the episode. The guy in the cubicle, who's from the security bureau previously or whatever, the security firm, I don't know, I'll have to watch it again, but it looked like he was obviously manipulating something there. I don't know if he has access to files or videos or security to stitch him up, but we'll find out. But anyway, that was just an interesting thing at the end. I'm jumping around the episode here. The reason I brought out Aunt Beru is because I love the character Marva. The actress, I've forgotten her name, but she's great. I've seen her in a lot of things, but I loved the way that, he said, I've scored, I'm going to go off now to wherever, we can go find somewhere warm. And she said, no, I'm staying, because, she just, she's better off there to stand her cause for the fight. It's a principle thing, isn't it, really? As opposed to running away. At least she's staying, and she'll do all she can at the age she is. Obviously, he's eventually going to find his path. He's a bit of a rogue at the minute, isn't he, really? But, he's had a taste of it anyway, hasn't he? And now he's getting stitched up and arrested and but yeah, it's all going to fall into place. But it's fantastic the way it's unfolding. I don't know why I've got him out in the background there, only that I can't wait to see what he has to contribute. And let's not forget what was said about him in Rogue One. They classified him as an extremist. Now, she is obviously on the fringe of the rebellion, or she's involved, but even she said to Lutheran, no, you haven't, have you? No. And he's like, well, yeah, they did it, they did the job or whatever. And obviously that stands for more than just a heist. It was enough for people to obviously now to stand up, and that's what she says. People are standing up. It's brilliant, isn't it? That's great. Our friend from the Phase 2. Now, speaking of Phase 2, that's topical because they're selling his helmet right now. I cannot afford I beg your pardon, too much money I quoted there. £130 they want for Phase 2. I'm not gone for it. I do have a collection of helmets over there, but I'm not going for it, man. I can't afford it. I really can't. If it was a Phase 1, however, I probably would have pulled the trigger. I do like the Phase 2 helmet, but I need to think about that one a little further. But yeah, that's on sale right now. There's a plug for you, Hasbro. But you saw them, and you saw a guy get lynched in the street. Oh, I almost forgot. What I really liked, going back to that confrontation with the shore troopers, was the K2 droids, or whatever you want to call them. Statistic analysis, that's what he says, isn't it? Anyway, these are 3 of these droids. Whoa! And that one in the middle is K2. Well, to be honest with you, that's supposed to be K2SO as well, that one there. But the thing is that I have chosen to use him as a general grunt, you know what I mean? An army builder, because that's the 5 POA one. That's the one that's the fully articulated one, so that's K2. And but yeah, at the end of the day, they all look the same anyway, don't they? So I've got 3 of them now. That's the one from, what is it now? The Jedi Survivor. That's K2, and that's also K2, but I'm on my shelves, I have him just with my Imperial droids just stood, because he's a bit dopey looking. Doesn't articulate. Remember the one in Rogue One that's just sort of stomping through? Canada Wharf, not Canary Wharf, not Canada. But Canary Wharf Station. Yeah, so that's why I still use him. This is actual K2, but I love this droid. And it wasn't K2, it was just a droid of this type. And they are quite mean, aren't they, man? I mean, I used to think they were just data analysis droids, but they just happen to have a really big physical stature. But actually, you see what they do in the Night of 1,000 Tears. They are, I'm so sorry, I'm not focusing very well. They are used for sweeping across a battlefield in that. So obviously a droid's a droid, and any droid can tap into an Imperial network and blah-de-blah, even that type can. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's obviously, they're used, because what does he say? The shore trooper, he says, I need a droid or something like that, droid backup or something like that, but still, and then there they were. I think I've prattled on long enough there in a roundabout way, ladies and gentlemen, but it was just a really great episode, and also the feel of it as well. I've got to say, I was getting some THX 1138 vibes in that, man, because the locations they were filming as well. I've said it before. There's some episodes of Doctor Who I have seen. I don't really watch Doctor Who, not the new stuff, but the classic Doctor Who. I think it was Day of the Daleks. They shot a lot of that around the festival hall in the United Kingdom. Kind of concrete block sort of structure that would have looked modern back in the 60s. But they had a lot of buildings like that in this. And you saw public just walking and mooching around, and you got that THX vibe, the society going about their daily business. Dare you get in the face of the likes of the police or whatever, and they'll put you away like he did. Well, has apparently got a 6-year sentence, but you know what I'm saying? So keep your head down and move on. And what do they say in THX 1138? Remain calm. The police, they're actually quite like that. They're just sort of like robots roaming around. But anyway, if you've not seen THX 1138, it's well worth a watch. But that thing of this modern futuristic society of oppressed somewhat, I got that vibe in this. And as for the Doctor Who thing, it was just the whole concrete structure. Real locations they're filming in is great. And I got that kind of Royal Festival Hall vibe, definitely. I'm loving it. Really good series, man. I hope you are too. If you're not, I'm really sorry for you, because this is the best product they've put out since forever, man. Brilliant. It surpassed everything we've had so far this year. Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett. Very childish in parts, way too safe or not thought through. This is extensively planned, man. It's apparent. A solid piece of Star Wars programming, ladies and gentlemen. And on that note, I'm going to bid you farewell. Thank you for listening to my rambles. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one. Out.